Hello and welcome to Box Breakdown. The 2026 Japanese Grand Prix, wow, it wasn't a race defined by some stunning overtake. No, this one will be remembered for a single, absolutely terrifying moment. A crash that didn't just turn the race on its head, but sent proper shockwaves through the entire championship. It all kicked off on lap 22. And just look at this. This is the shocking aftermath of Haas driver Ollie Behrman's huge shunt. I mean, what you're seeing is what's left of his car. It's a truly frightening sight, and it brought the whole Grand Prix to a grinding halt. And the numbers, well, they're just staggering. The impact was measured at a brutal 50 G. To put that into perspective, that's 50 times the force of gravity. A massive, massive shock to the system. But, incredibly, Ollie walked away with only a bruised right knee. It's an absolute testament to just how safe these F1 cars are today. So the big question is, how on earth does a crash like this even happen? Let's break it down, shall we? Let's get into the anatomy of this incident. Right, so picture this. Behrman is absolutely pinned, flat out approaching the infamous spoon curve at over 300 kilometers an hour. All of a sudden, he's closing in on Franco Colapinto's Alpine ahead of him at an alarming rate. He had to swerve onto the grass to avoid him, and from there, well, he was just a passenger, spearing into the barriers. Okay, but here's the thing, and this is what's really crucial. For the drivers, this horrifying moment wasn't some freak accident that came out of nowhere. Not at all. This was the exact danger they'd been shouting about for months. And it all comes down to a highly controversial part of the 2026 rules known as closing speeds. It's all about how that electrical energy is deployed. When one car is using its boost and the one in front isn't, you get these massive, dangerous speed gaps. In Behrman's case, he was closing on Colapinto 45 kilometers per hour faster. That's a huge speed differential to deal with in the blink of an eye. And you can just feel the frustration from the drivers. The reaction in the paddock was a massive "we told you so." Carlos Sainz in particular was not holding back. He's basically saying there's no other racing series in the world that allows this, and it's for a very, very good reason. It's just too dangerous. And it wasn't just Carlos, not by a long shot. These warnings were coming from everywhere. You had McLaren's boss, Andrea Stella, pointing this out way back in preseason testing. Lando Norris even admitted he'd had a fair few near misses during the race itself. So yeah, the writing has been on the walls since before a wheel was even turned this season. So let's talk about the immediate aftermath, because Behrman's crash didn't just bring out the safety car, it basically turned the Grand Prix into a lottery. And some drivers got very, very lucky. Okay, so check this out. Before the crash, Oscar Piastri was leading from George Russell. But here's the kicker. They just pitted. When the safety car comes out, it bunches everyone up, and that meant guys like Kimi Antonelli and Lewis Hamilton, who hadn't pitted yet, basically got a free stop. They could dive into the pits and come out without losing any meaningful time or track position. A complete game changer. And you've just got a feel for Oscar Piastri. He was absolutely the biggest loser in all of this. I mean, he'd driven a masterful race, leading for 21 laps, everything under control, and then poof, a bit of terrible luck, completely out of his hands, and a potential first ever F1 win was just gone. Gutting. But you know, for every loser, there's a winner. And the guy holding the winning lottery ticket, that would be Mercedes' young gun, Kimi Antonelli. The chaos just catapulted him from fourth right into the lead, an opportunity he grabbed with both hands and never let go. And this is where we zoom out to the bigger picture, because this result wasn't just about one race in Japan. Oh no, it sent proper shockwaves through the whole championship, and it gave us a brand new leader. Kimi Antonelli's win wasn't just another trophy for the cabinet. It was genuinely historic. With back-to-back victories, he is now the youngest driver ever to lead the Formula One World Championship. Just let that sink in for a moment. So what does that actually look like in the points? Well, Antonelli jumps to the top with 72, putting him 9 points clear of his highly rated teammate George Russell. I mean, who saw this coming? It has completely thrown all the preseason predictions out the window. And the drama wasn't just at the top. This race really hammered home a new, painful reality for Red Bull Racing. Max Verstappen could only manage 9th place. It seems the team that dominated for so long is now scrapping it out in the midfield. Incredible. So all of this leaves Formula One and its governing body, the FIA, with a massive headache. They're at a real crossroads now, stuck between making the sport as safe as possible and putting on a good show. Now, to be fair, the FIA did come out pretty quickly with a statement. They acknowledged that, yes, the high closing speeds were a factor, and they made a point of saying that these parts of the rules can be tweaked. They insist talks are happening to find a solution. But as Carlos Sainz says here, the drivers are still worried. The big question for them is, are the powers that be really going to listen to us, the people in the cars? Or will our safety concerns take a backseat to what the teams want for the sake of the show? And that's the big question hanging over F1 right now, isn't it? We've just had a weekend where a danger the drivers predicted came true in a really frightening way. So, now that it's actually happened, will the people who make the rules finally listen to the people who risk their lives every single race?